WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Monday at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy to be back. I know you had a guest last week, the Honorable Alberta Tinsley Talabi, but I'm back home today. So glad to be with you. And while we're talking about Alberta, we want to wish her a very happy birthday. Today is her birthday. And so happy birthday, Alberta Tinsley Talabi. Yay, happy, happy, happy. And on top of that, I always remember her birthday because today is my mother's birthday, August 14th. Wonderful little bitty lady, but a real tough little lady too. She didn't take any prisoners. I've got the scars to show it. I shouldn't say scars, but there were couple of times when I had to go get my own switch. You remember those days when they made you go get your own switch, everybody? Yeah, I had to have that occur a couple of times. It didn't take me too many times to figure out you don't want to do this anymore. So I was smart enough to do that. But happy birthday, mother! My mother's name was Edna. I was named after my mother also. And interesting for Alberta's birthday, we took a riverboat cruise on the Diamond Jack boat today at 11 o'clock, because we have this program at Mac Alive called Buddies in Business. And it's a program where we teach young people how to organize their own businesses, how to think about what they want to do, the management of it, the finances of it, all the organizational pieces. And this was the end of the Buddies for Business program for the summer. And so the young people were on the ship showing what they had learned. Some of them had created their own products. They had jewelry, they had makeup, and all sorts of different things. So it was really nice to see young entrepreneurs showing what they could do. And so congratulations to the graduates of Buddies for Business from Mac Alive, and more about Mac Alive, because, we have this wonderful parade every year. The Mac Alive Parade has been going on for 26 years now, and it will take place on the 26th of August. That's on a Saturday. So everybody who wants to see a wonderful display of community involvement, community activities, come out to be on Mac between the Boulevard and Pennsylvania. You'll love it. It's a beautiful parade. We have marching bands, and we have, the best part, I think, is the Corvette, the people who own Corvettes are always in the parade. And they have these great cars, and there's a whole lineup of them. They come in all sorts of colors and sizes and people, but it's a great parade. And we end at the Boulevard and Mac. And there's a wonderful park there by the church. And we have a great, great time. There are vendors, there's food, all sorts of great people there. Forgotten Harvest is there, giving out food on top of food on top of food. So come out on the 26th of August to the Mac Alive annual parade. And the day before that, that Friday, on the grounds of Mac Alive at Mac and Fisher, will be the Praise in the Park. Wonderful gospel celebration. Wonderful, wonderful gospel celebration on Mac and Fisher on the 25th at 6 o'clock in the evening. Come out and enjoy with us. So wanted to make sure I reminded everybody of those items so that you can come and be with us. Now, our special guest today, and you all know him. I don't have to introduce him, but I'm going to do it anyway. Real estate person extraordinaire, Mr. Ken Scott, who happens to be the president of the Greater Detroit Realtors Association. Ken, are you there?
I am.
Welcome, as always. Real Estate Monday. What have you got new for us today?
Just making sure that people are aware of the down payment assistance that's out there, whether it be in the city of Detroit or elsewhere. Just want to make sure that they are taking all the opportunities that they need to take in order to become a homeowner.
Well, great, because we have new listeners coming on every week, and I want you to talk about what down payment assistance really means for those who may not know.
Down payment assistance is money that you must put down in order to show your interest in a home or an investment property, whatever the case may be. But particularly first-time home buyer, you must put down a certain amount. Most lenders require that you put down at least 1% of the home. Some
Only 1%?
Realtors
1%?
might ask that you put down more in order to be competitive in getting your offer accepted.
But 1% isn't very much, is it?
It is not much at all. But at the same time, what it does
If
is
you don't have it, it's a lot, but
you are interested.
but you know what? Come on now.
Yeah, 1%. It's not that much, but at the same time, the stigma that's attached to it prevents individuals from attaining home ownership because they're fearful of the process and they're not aware of the process. And that's the reason why we hold HUD certified housing counseling classes every month to make sure that they're aware of it. And what we found is those individuals that attend those classes have a tendency to stay in those homes longer and their families grew up in those homes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, talk about what typically is asked as a down payment.
Down payment. Say you're making an offer on a home, and of course, at this point in time, and like the last few years, you have a low percentage of homes that are available that are up to standards, whether they be for home inspection purposes or appraisal purposes. Uh, that prevents people from getting into the mix and what have you, and learning about home ownership. Um, we try to make sure that they're aware of the down payment assistance program, how much they have to put down, uh, depending on whatever that lender may ask for, whether it be a bank, a mortgage lender, a mortgage broker, whatever the case may be. They have a certain criteria for debt to income ratio. They have a certain criteria for credit score. They have a certain percentage for reserve savings. And that's what individuals need to know about it. It's not as stringent as it was in past years because of the various programs that are out there, both the traditional products as well as the portfolio products. But at the same time, if you're not knowledgeable enough and you're not listening to Pookie and Ray Ray, then you have an opportunity to attain home ownership.
Absolutely. It's so important. It's not just being a homeowner, it's generational wealth also.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
it's being in a stable environment for you and your children. So it's more than just owning a piece of property. It's all of that wrapped up in a big with a big bow. But
Absolutely.
I'd like you to take our listeners through. Let's say I'm Mary Jane, and I come to you, Ken Scott, and I say, I want to buy a house, and you find a house for me. And my house is going to cost $150,000.
Mhm.
Typically, start getting me from beginning to end. What am I doing first? Well, I found the house. Now, what am I doing? No, back up. Before I find the house, because there's stuff you need to do
Yeah,
before you
it's a whole lot that
go.
needs
Go.
to be said before then.
Yeah, talk
All
about
right,
that
first
stuff.
and foremost, um, the legal requirements in the state of Michigan is that you be 18 years of age,
Mhm.
and that as it relates to the mortgage end, you're 2 years on the job of full time employment. And
Okay.
if you have a certain income and what have you, obviously the pre approval is going to be based on that, as well as how much debt you're covering, as well as your credit score. The debt that you're covering could be anything that's listed on your credit report that may hold you back. Always state that the individuals must look 12 to 24 months in their credit score to find out if they paid their bills on time. And if you have, then you're a good risk to the lending institution that's looking favorably, hopefully favorably on you getting pre approved. The other thing is that you must have paid your taxes on time for the last 2 years and have receipt of that, as well as provide documentation for your pay stubs, your W-2s, and your savings accounts or checking accounts.
Now, let me stop you right there, because we know that much of what goes on in many big cities, and we know in particular here in Detroit, people don't have bank accounts. They don't have a W 2. They don't have a pay stub, but they got the money.
Oh,
What do you want? What do you tell them to start doing 2 years before they want to buy that house?
we don't have enough time to talk about all that.
Because that's the truth,
All right,
right?
let me say this first and foremost. We are the most unbanked population in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are individuals that work traditional jobs. In some cases, with the income being low, or the income being high, or the income not being accounted for.
There we go. The income not accounted
Okay.
for is a piece.
And what I call Detroit's underground economy.
Yes. Yes.
And it isn't no offense to anyone, but at the same time, by that I mean if you have not paid your taxes on time, if you are not um, documenting how much is going in and how much is going out, then you're the underground economy.
Hmm.
And a lot of cases, that's the reason why you're being held back.
Exactly. That's the reason why you can't buy a house.
That's the
Because
reason why you can't buy a house or anything else.
that you can't prove that you made all that money you said
That's
you
my
made.
point. That's
And
my
you might have made it, but you can't prove you made it and how you made it. And
point.
that
And
becomes
at some point in time, the government is going to question whether you made it or whether you made so much that you didn't account for it.
mm-hmm.
So a lot of
And
jobs,
mama didn't give you all that money. My mother gave me that money. No, mama
yeah.
didn't give you all of that for all these.
And that's the other thing. If somebody gave you some money, you have to account for where it come from. If
See,
it
and
was
people don't know that. Say that again. See, say that again. People don't know that. They think just because I said somebody gave it to me, it's okay. Say it again.
no, you have to account for how you attain the money. Was it someone paying you for a task or a job that you had completed?
Oh, you just look real pretty and they want to give you some money.
Yeah, I ain't going there. I'll just pass that one by. Anyway, if the money is not accounted for, then you can't use it.
To buy a
So
house.
what it's going to do is throw up
You
red
can't use
flags
it
all
to
over
buy a
the
house.
place.
That's
Well, yeah, you can use it, but at the
you
same
can't
time,
use it to buy a house.
right, you can't use it to buy a house. That's a whole different situation. All right, but at the same time, it must be accounted for either in a check stub, a pay stub, taxes, uh, um, any means that you've done as it relates to either a W-2, 1099, if you're self-employed, and a lot of people are self-employed within the city of Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
or have a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case and what have you, you must, and I'm underlining must, you must document that in order to attain home ownership. Because they're going to say, you couldn't have gotten it in that sock that you were keeping in the drawer. You can't keep it under the bed. You can't put it in the closet. You can't put it in the backyard under the dog house. I mean, you gotta realize that you must document this paperwork and show that you actually work for it.
Absolutely. Now, so everybody, if you're listening today and you want to buy a house, you can't buy one today. Okay,
No,
you might have the money, but you can't buy the house today.
exactly. Not even in a cash
Look
deal
up,
can you
look
buy
up
a house
2
today.
years. Start now. Start today. Looking for 2 years out.
Absolutely.
Get
And
yourself
at least 1 year where you're paying your bills on time.
yes, and pay the bills. Show
On
that you
time.
made the
On time.
money, and then 2 years from now you can buy a house. You can't buy
Yeah.
one today. Sorry.
And also make sure that it's reflected on your credit report, whether you took out a loan for a car or whatever the case may be, or an appliance at one of the stores and what have you. Make sure that it's accounted for and you're paying that bill on time. Make sure that you're paying your utilities on time. What else? Your car insurance, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing about that is there's there are more and more financial institutions looking at alternative credit, meaning that these are items that you pay on a regular basis, but were never accounted for in the past through Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, which is the credit repositories, such as if you're paying your rent on time, making sure you have documentation for all 12 months or beyond, your car payment, your car insurance, your renter's insurance, your utilities. If you're paying all those things on time and you can document that through a receipt and what have you, then more lending institutions are looking at that more favorably as far as your payment history. And if your payment history is as of such that is documented properly and you paid on time, and you have a reference letter possibly of your landlord or your property management company, then they're going to look at that as additional lines of credit that were not documented on your credit report.
Okay.
So if you have no credit or a little credit, or you don't have at least 3 trade lines on your credit, they probably will not approve you of a loan.
What's
So
the
you have to
credit
take that.
score we're looking at? What's the credit score we're going to look at to get a house?
And this is the crazy thing. Over the last 2 years, that has changed drastically. What used to be where you needed a credit score of 620 or 640, now you can, excuse me, now you can do a credit score of 580 or 600 and what have you. And that's not saying a lot, but at the same time, again, I go back to the last 12 months, to the last 24 months. If you paid your bills on time and what have you, there's institutions out there that will allow you to not even use credit in order to get approved.
Okay.
Okay, so but traditional banking and mortgage companies are going to require at least a 580 because that's FHA standards.
Mm-hmm.
But where that comes into play and where that may be not enough is the fact that most homes that are listed by selling agents or listing agents are going to require that you have a conventional loan. If you have a conventional loan and what have you, and you have no student loans, which is a whole nother story. If you have no student loans and you're going for a conventional loan, it's a little easier to put in an offer and have that offer accepted.
Okay.
If that's the case and what have you, it's a smoother process, provided the home meets the home inspection requirements as well as the appraisal requirements, knowing what the value is in that particular community.
Now, what about, you mentioned down payments before, and you said you could get something for as little as 1%. That's just simply amazing to
No,
me.
1% down. 1% down.
1% down. I've always heard that 10% was the standard. So it isn't 10%, it's 1% now?
Oh, it hasn't been 10% for some time.
Oh, see, I'm gonna go
matter
up
of fact, they
okay.
they passed even 5%.
It's been that long, Ken.
They passed 5% a while back, so 10% is not even in play.
Oh my!
Because if that was the case and everything, it would be a lot of people still living somewhere else.
Okay. Wow.
All
okay.
right, but at the same time, that 1% could possibly get you in the door as far as getting a home, but at the same time, obviously you have to be approved by a lender, and you have to know their requirements.
Okay.
Whether it be the debt to income ratio, and debt to income ratio has expanded a great deal.
Talk about that.
Used to be
because
where you would.
Some people don't understand what debt to income ratio means. Explain it can you explain that in a different way?
Debt to income ratio is however money you are paying per month minus the items that in a lot of cases are on your credit report.
Wait a minute, how much you're paying or how much you get?
How much you get.
Okay.
Minus the expenses, whether it be the rent, whether it be the utilities, your car payment, whatever the case may be. If those things wind up on your credit, subtract that from how much you're making per month. And obviously you're doing that, say you're making $30,000, divide that by 12.
Wait, you're not making $30,000 a month. Let's try something else. I know very few people making $30,000 a month.
Yeah, I mean, understand this.
Try.
I'm just using the example. Let me go this way.
Let's maybe okay. I'll go 10,000 a month. Let's go 10,000 a month. Okay.
Oh,
10,000 a month. If I make 10,000 a month, I can't have.
No. What I was saying it was 30,000 divided by 12. What I was saying 30,000 divided by 12.
Oh, but that's $30,000 divided by 12. You mean a year? You're talking about a year?
Yeah.
Oh.
12 months. 12 months.
Okay.
So you're making $2,500 a month.
Okay. Can you buy a house making $2,500 a month?
Oh, heck yes.
Oh,
yes.
Really? What kind of house can you get for $2,500?
Oh, you get a nice house. You seriously can get a nice house.
Can you?
But $2,500.
I am really obviously in another world. I've got to come back. I got to get to the real world here.
So you're making $2,500 a month.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you minus that $300 for rent. $300 for a car note.
Okay, $2,500 a month, and I spend $1,900. I got $600 left.
Okay, okay, you got $600 left. All right. How much is your rent though?
$1,100.
Okay. All right. And I'm glad you mentioned that the way you did. You're saying $1,100.
Because that's what I
Hold on.
The typical
car note. I mean, your house
rent
note
is $1,100 now.
Your house note is going to be less than that in a lot of respects. Okay, so say your house note is $900.
Okay,
you're actually saving $200 more.
You're saving that money. Okay.
Okay, so that makes you more apt to get approved by one of these lenders than you ever would have gotten approved if you had gone through a non-traditional rental agreement or a lease agreement, whatever the case may be. So that makes it more palatable or risk what do you call it?
Risk friendly.
Risk friendly, and you can buy a home a lot cheaper. Not only that, what's more importantly about that is you can stay in that home a lot longer.
That's the important part.
Because you're comfortable with that payment.
You get it.
What you were charged in a lot of cases, rent is from anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800. Think about how much you could save if you were to buy a home.
Absolutely, but let me
that amount.
Something else. So let's say that
at $900.
But then if you're renting something, are you paying for all of the upkeep? I mean, the painting and maintenance and the utilities.
No, you're not,
because that's going to.
But keep in mind, I wouldn't suggest anyone buy a home that needed that much help or that many repairs in order for you to sustain it over months and months to come.
Well,
when you buy a home, you want to make sure that it meets those requirements, those building code requirements.
But see, I'm not talking necessarily about repairs. I'm talking about maintenance. When you buy a home, you need to be able to water the grass.
Absolutely.
You need a hose, a lawnmower, and a rake, and you need some paint because you'll need the paint, and you'll be able to wash the windows, and you need some scrub brushes so you can all that stuff.
All right, but let me say this:
care of the place, and I'm not even talking about major repairs. I'm talking about everyday maintenance.
Well, let me say it this way:
the people on your block don't attack you because you didn't cut your grass, you didn't keep it watered, you didn't do all that stuff. So
okay, all right,
that you don't do if you're
this way then.
An apartment.
How many times are you gonna paint? How many times are you gonna paint?
I hope only once 4 or 5 years.
Okay, good.
But I'm gonna cut the grass every week.
But understand that
I need a lawnmower.
You were gonna have a utility bill regardless.
Yes. Okay.
Whether it be water, whether it be gas, whether it be electricity. Electricity and gas is combined in Detroit under DTE. So the average bill is somewhere around maybe $200. If that's the case, then you're going to expend that regardless. But this time you're paying for it as a homeowner.
And that makes a difference.
So a lot of things can be written off as a homeowner.
Okay.
That wouldn't have been written off, or even you having to pay it if you are a renter.
And are my taxes included in that $900 I'm paying?
Your taxes could be included within that payment because keep in mind that principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is your house note.
Okay, so that's all included in my $900.
All that's in the escrow. All that's in the escrow.
So that people will understand what it is and what they should be looking for when they start looking for a house and what's included in that. So if you're renting and you're paying $1,100 and now you're going to own a home, this is going to be yours, and you're paying less than that, you're ahead of the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not only that, it's yours.
Makes yours.
It's somewhere where when you get off work, you can come home and relax. When your kids get out of school, they can come home and do their homework, do whatever they want to do in the neighborhood and play or whatever the case may be, and go to sleep.
I know, and that's so important. Let me stop on that.
It's a comfort factor.
Yes, we have children in our city and probably around the country who don't necessarily know where they're going to lay their head at night,
Uh,
uh, who who uh, who don't have a table or a desk to do homework on.
Absolutely.
And so that to me is probably one of the most important things about home ownership is that these children have a stable environment to grow up in, to be comforted in, to learn how to sit at a table and have a good meal with their family, to sleep restful at night, to do homework, to be around people who are in your neighborhood who are going to look after you, and you're going to learn those people. That's one of the big benefits, I think, of home ownership, because
Absolutely.
we've got too many babies now who don't have that kind of advantage, who don't know where they're going to. And you'd be amazed at the number. The Detroit public school system has a homeless department. When did you ever think that would ever happen? There's a
Yeah.
whole department that does nothing but deal with babies who are homeless. The
You know
family.
what? You know what upsets me the most is that I don't care if it was a plan or a design plan or it just happened to happen, but when our political officials and our entities such as DPSCD
Mm-hmm,
start closing schools,
mm-hmm,
that was an instant reflection and a factor in our communities being destabilized.
absolutely, absolutely.
I the more I think about it, the more I get upset because I've gone around showing homes where the home was around a school, which for the most part is the pillar of the community, and the school is so blighted out. And around the perimeter of the school, the homes are blighted out.
Mhm.
And no one wants to live in that community. You got abandoned, vacant homes that are not secured or maintained. Then you're wondering why we have a homeless situation and why we have a housing crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the school that I used to go to, Coffee Middle School, is over on Lindsay, Gilchrist, and I can't remember what the side street is. But I went over there because I had a client that was looking not too far away from there, but I rode through that community. And I remember there being brick homes, good shape, people watering their grass, green grass from miles. And now I see nothing but blighted properties around it. And then I was like, how did we get here where that community was stable for the long number of years?
Well, Detroit was known as the greatest number of homeowners in the country.
Yeah,
The
in the
number of
in
American homeowners
the
in the
largest
country,
cities that
largest,
have the
absolutely.
highest home ownership.
Yes, yes.
And
And now we've looked
for
at something that is completely different.
our political officials need to adjust their thinking and start working with the school system in order to create those communities again. Because I look at it this way, and I always use this analogy. When we were growing up, we had a elementary school, middle school, or junior high, and a high school.
Hmm.
And we have alumni associations for all three.
Yes.
These kids nowadays are growing up 5 schools before high school, and you don't know what school to attend because you were here for a minute, over here for another minute, got bussed over here. Parents took you to this one. I mean, where's the stability in our community?
That's the issue. The
Where's the
stability
stability?
isn't there. And with as many homes as we have vacant, there should be no homeless issue in Detroit.
That's my point. That's exactly my point. And there are neighborhoods that are just barren
Hmm.
of home
Absolutely.
ownership, and that needs to be rectified. And that's the reason why um, myself, as president of the Greater Detroit Realtors Association, we're working with entities to do rehab loans in the respective communities. So some of these homes can look like they were supposed to look,
Mhm.
where families can move in them right away. And it's not functionally obsolescent, meaning that if you have 3 people in your household and you have one bathroom, that's functionally obsolescent.
Really? And
Yeah,
I only say really because there were 4 people in my house and we only had one
yeah, exactly. But at the
bathroom.
same time,
So,
as time has
of course,
changed,
I know that's a million years ago, but you know,
uh, as time changes, as time changes,
yes, it does.
the
And I'm
accommodations have
trying
to
to
change.
get there.
The
Help me, Jesus.
accommodations
I'm
have to
trying to
change.
get there.
The accommodations have to change. So if you have 3 people, say you have a, mother and father, or man and wife, and you have 2 children, how are you going to use one bathroom?
Shall I help them understand how?
Well, wait, hold on. No, I don't want to go there.
I can show you how to do
I
that.
want to say, and my thought is,
I can show you how
how,
to do that.
how many buckets do you have?
Come on now. I don't that's
And,
that
and do you really want to see the contents?
okay.
I'm sorry for the graphics,
But
but at
it's
the
okay.
same time, it's real.
I'm back to the fact that we had one bathroom. There were 4 people in the house, and we
Oh
made
yeah.
it work.
Oh, hold on. I can go worse than that.
We made it work, and
When I was,
it was not a chore. It was not. It
let
wasn't
me say
hard.
this.
It was no issue.
When I was, when I
I'm
was,
okay with that.
when I was growing up in Kansas City, when I was growing up in Kansas City, somewhere between 7 and 9, um, my mother, myself, my aunt, her 3 girls, my grandmother and great grandmother all lived in one unit in the housing project.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That
Okay,
was the norm.
with 2 bedrooms
Mm-hmm.
and one bath.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but now
I'm okay. I
it
know
doesn't
that
make
room.
sense. Now it doesn't make sense. Then
Well,
we
it
weren't
makes
even
sense
thinking
if you
about
don't
it.
have anything else.
Then we
Right?
weren't even thinking about it.
That was the
Okay,
norm.
now it's a conscious decision.
Oh.
Where do we stay? And I looked up on the MLS the other day, and there are 500 homes in 3 zip codes that just have one bathroom. And the listing agent wonders why their home is still on the market a year later.
Okay, Ken, I hear what you're saying. I appreciate that. But let me just say to you, I grew up in a household with 4 people with one bathroom.
Okay, 8
My
and
kids,
1.
my kids grew up in a home with 2 parents and 2 children and one bathroom.
Okay.
And I, and we lived in the projects.
How
One,
many bedrooms?
one
How
long
many
time,
bedrooms?
2 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms.
Okay. All right,
One
we
long
there. We
and
there.
our house was a stop off for everybody who came up north. So there could have been at
Okay.
any time at our house, our 2 bedroom house and 1 bedroom, or rather 1 bathroom, there could have been anywhere from 4 to 8 people, 9 people in there as they stopped off, got jobs, then got their places and
As
moved
they
on.
migrated north.
Yeah, so it was, and we made it work. I think it's more about respect
Convenience.
for
Convenience.
the people you're with
Uh-huh.
and how you make it work. My mother made it work. My mother and father made it work. And so I don't, and I appreciate what you're saying, but I don't want people to think that just because this house has one bathroom, that it's not livable.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
What
That's
are you
not exactly.
saying?
That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, why go there? Okay.
Because that's all you have.
Why not have a home that has a bath and a half in order to accommodate your convenience, your comfort level?
That's a wonderful thing, but I'm saying that
And that's the reason why
the
it should happen.
house is built stable unit, livable, and it has one bathroom. Let somebody live in it. It's okay.
Oh no! I'm not saying it can't be bought in, and it does. It is bought in a lot of cases, but at the same time, that is not the state that it's in now. Doesn't have to be the state to accommodate you. meaning that you can make that change through a rehab loan in order to create more comfort, more convenience.
Okay, gotcha. But I'm just saying that I don't want people to think that doggone it, there's four of us, there's five of us, and we only
Oh
have
no,
one bathroom. We can't make this work. Yes, you
no, no,
can.
no, no, no. It does exist, and
Yeah,
it exists presently.
yes, and
But
you
at
can
the
make it
same
work.
time, you shouldn't have to endure that during that time. Please use for okay, okay.
Okay,
Something else came up.
you have that question that just arose. Can you see it? Affirm and after.
Oh, okay. People use Affirm and Afterpay. Can those be used for credit? I am not familiar with either one.
Well, you see, you got an assignment.
Yeah, I'm
Next
not
time you
familiar
come
with
on the
either
show,
one.
you'll be on the show in 2 weeks. It's your turn again on 28th.
Absolutely, I'm
You
not
got an
familiar with either one
assignment. So you got an assignment. So next time you're on,
because
you
I
need
have
to know
never
what's
heard
going
of either one. I've never heard of either one.
on. I know, but you have today. So
Okay,
I want you to go. I
Affirm
want
and
you to
Afterpay.
figure those out. Okay.
Okay.
But I want to go back. I know I'm probably pushing this a little bit too much, but I got to go back to this two bedrooms and these four people in this one
Oh
bed.
no, no. What I'm saying is one of the things that we want to alleviate is the fact that there are so many people out there looking for homes.
That's what I'm
And,
talking about.
and
Remember,
hold
you
on, hold on, hold on.
it has
And
two
when and
bedrooms
when
and
they
a
don't
bathroom.
and when they don't find the accommodations, being a one bathroom or a 1.5 bathroom or two bathrooms, they stop looking and then they start renting all over again. And
I
their
know.
lease becomes up a year later and they're facing the same factors. Utter
And maybe,
competition.
just maybe, we set a standard for people that we're saying to them, "Oh, you don't want that because that's only got one bathroom."
No, 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 no,
What
no.
I'm saying is
No,
that there
that's
are
what they're
families
saying.
out there who would love to have a house that's in good shape in a decent neighborhood with a nice lawn and a backyard for their children to play in with one bathroom, and they would love that. But two bedroom, bathroom, living room, dining room,
No,
kitchen.
no, no. But listen, what I'm saying is there have been plenty of people out in the market that when they looked at the number of homes that were just had one bathroom,
Hmm.
that deterred them from buying.
I got you, and I think I hear what you're saying, but see, I guess I'm looking at another population. I'm
Right.
looking at the homeless
Exactly.
population.
Uh-huh.
Looking at those people who um, right now may be living in a motel or maybe living with someone else who probably have a job
Oh yeah.
and would
And
love
keep
to
in
be able
mind that I
to
run
pay
into individuals
money for
all
that
the time.
house. Those
I
people.
run into individuals all the time that have disabilities and what have
Mhm.
you. They are under the impression of because of their dollar amount and what have you that they cannot purchase homes.
Yes.
When I run into individuals that are living in a Section 8 home,
Hmm.
they are not aware that that Section 8 voucher can be used to purchase a home. I mean,
Exactly.
it's so many levels of um, how am I going to say it? Levels of misinformation out there that deters us. And I was at a home buying seminar June 17th. It was June's 10th weekend
Hmm.
down in Huntington. And they asked me, what's the biggest deterrent for home ownership? And I said, fear. We are the ones that get in our own way.
You're right.
We don't try because of someone else's circumstances, not allowing us to have the thought, the vision to buy a home. That shouldn't be the case.
I agree.
Don't listen to anyone else. Go to one of these HUD certified housing counselors and find out what the possibilities are. One of
When
the
is
things that I
when
stated in my
when is the next counseling housing session?
I am let's see. Actually, I'm going to plan one out tonight. We're gonna have one September 30th
Perfect.
at the um uh
You don't have to
Dozier,
remember it right
at
now.
the Dozier Center
You
in
tell me on the
Inkster.
28th.
Yeah, the Dozier Center in Inkster,
Uh-huh.
where we want to appeal to those people in the Western Wing.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I did as far as presidency, and keep in mind, I'm president of the Greater Detroit Realtors Association, which is a board of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. our main charge is to increase Black home ownership
Yes.
wherever we are. For a long time, because of fair housing, we weren't allowed to say we wanted to increase Black home ownership. Okay, because we were supposed to be respective of everyone. But now that there's a deficiency in home ownership, we want to make sure that the word gets out that, hey, we are targeting you. We want you to be a homeowner in order to increase wealth.
Okay.
But at the same time, you have to come to the table. Let us teach you how to overcome those obstacles, those fears, those barriers, whatever the case may be, so that you can attain that. If you can attain that after coming to our seminar and what have you, we've done our job. Okay, we're going to introduce you to lenders, home inspectors, appraisers, housing counselors, insurance people, title companies, whatever the case may be, and specifically realtists or realtors that have your best interests at heart. One of the things that I always say that before I start any seminar, we're providing with you hope, access, and opportunity.
Okay.
Hope gives you the understanding that you can do it. Access meaning that, hey, this is how you can do it. Opportunity is when you can do it.
I love that. That's a great way to end our show today.
Okay.
Hope, access, and opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Hope, access, and opportunity.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do what we can to help you do that, because you're going to be back on the show on the 28th to talk more about hope, access, and opportunity.
Not a
And we're
problem.
going to talk more about that 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom. I can't let it go.
And not only that, I'm going to look at affirm and afterpay.
Yeah, but there's some people out there that I think we can get to that would be heaven for them.
Absolutely.
And so those are the people we need to find.
Absolutely. And not only that, we're doing that with the Western Wayne County NAACP on September 30th at the Booker Dozier Recreation Center in Inkster.
I know it well. Okay. Yeah. We'll look forward to it. Ken, as always, I love having you on because you bring us all sorts of good information. And next time you're going to have the information about, what was that we said? The
affirm and afterpay.
Affirm and after. All right. We'll know what that is next time, because I don't know what it is. But you will tell me on the 28th what that means.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to the Community Bell Show. And Mr. Ken Scott, president of Greater Detroit Realtist Association. We're always glad to have you. We'll see you again on the 29th, and we'll see all of you listeners on next Monday, 4:00, the Community Bell Show. Don't miss us. We always have good information for you, and we'll have some more good information for you next Monday. It's been a great time. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit.
The views and opinions expressed on the previous broadcast are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WVTC Radio Detroit, its advertisers, or affiliates.
Congratulations to WVTC Gospel Radio, as they are again the recipients of the 2023 Stellar Award for Best Internet Radio Station of the Year. Many thanks to our viewers. Keep watching as we are winning victories through Christ. Here's just one of the fine programs right here on WVTC Detroit.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.